parse Iñupiaq sentences. Here is how I parse Iñupiaq sentences during translation. Parse simply means to break down, analyze, and explain parts of a sentence. This is useful if you're taking a class in Iñupiaq, or if you're working with Iñupiaq sentences in stories, recordings, or trying to speak with someone who is fluent in Iñupiaq. I have 4 examples. Here is the first example. Iñupiaq. I begin by identifying the parts I know. I know this ending tuk, I know this post-base naq, and this stem looks kind of familiar. But I'm having trouble identifying this part. So I start with what I know. I know tuk is a third-person singular ending and it gets translated different ways. They singular, he, she, or it. I know naq is a future tense post-base that usually gets translated as will. Now let's look at the stem. Amahoy reminds me of amahok, wolf. And even though the Q is missing, I can make the guess that because it's combined with post-bases, that the Q got deleted. Now I need to figure out this guy. So we have an I and an N with an eyebrow. If you remember, when T is placed next to an N, T also becomes N, and strong I's palatalize N. I remember that there is a post-base IT that means to not have something. So I have my verb ending, 2 post-bases, and a stem. I'm going to use the singular they for the pronoun. They, singular, will not have a wolf. So that's the first sentence. Now I'm going to go into 3 more examples. The second sentence, Iñupiaq. Again, I'm going to start with what I know. I know this ending, I know this post-base, but maybe I'm having trouble with these ones. I know this ending here is an interrogative ending. It is asking a question. The ending piñuk is a first-person dual interrogative ending. It gets translated as we, talking about 2 of us. And then naq, again, is the future tense post-base. And then I have these 2 parts. From the previous sentence, I can see the same pattern going on. So I think maybe this is that same post-base IT, to not have something. And then what do I have going on here? This reminds me of a word I know, atigi, parka. But I have an A right here instead of an I. What happened? Well, if I think back, atigi has a weak I at the end. And I remember that weak I's change to A when placed next to a vowel. So that is what happened here. So I have parka, not have, will, and we too. Will we too not have parkas? And in this sentence, this can be parka or parkas, because here the number of parkas is not specified. And I have another example. Iñupiaq. Again, I'm going to start with the parts that look familiar. But I've got a stem that I don't know quite where it's coming from. So I'm going to start with what I already know. We've got our future tense postbase, will. And with this postbase here, I know that when postbase it is combined with naq, it becomes Iñupiaq, meaning will not have. And then this ending is an interrogative ending. It is third person dual. They too. But I'm wondering where this one comes from. I have K, A, M, and N with a tail. One clue that I have is that this postbase is only added to nouns. So I'm thinking of nouns that I know that start with K, A, M. A noun that comes to mind is gamik, boot. But what happened here? I'm missing an I and a K. Well, this postbase drops semifinal weak I's. A weak I that is the second to the last letter in the stem. So that explains the missing I. But how did we get this N? Well, in Iñupiaq, if you end up with a consonant cluster MK, it becomes MN with a tail or MG. So we have they too, will, not have, and boot. Will they too not have boots? And this could also be a boot because in this sentence the number of boots is not specified. And here we have one last example. Iñupiaq ilisaqtorlu aglaqtorlu. Again, I'm going to underline the ones that are familiar to me. I know what Iñupiaq is. Iñupiaq means boy. And then I have two verb stems that I know. Ilisaq and aglaq. And I have an enclitic ending lu. But what's going on here? I know ilisaq is a verb stem meaning to study or practice, and aglaq is a verb stem meaning to write. And this ending lu means and I remember when I'm talking about the same subject or making a list, I add lu to the end of each thing on the list. And now we have two pieces that we have to figure out. Going back to the enclitic ending lu, these guys go at the end of a completed word. So now I know that this word and this word were already completed before lu was added. In order to make a verb stem complete, I need a verb ending. So I know that these are verb endings, and I only have one subject, Iñupiaq, so I can guess that these are both third-person singular endings. The only difference between these endings is that this one is in the present tense and this one is in the past tense. Boy, study, write, and past and present tense endings and enclitic lu. The boy is studying and he wrote. And that is how I parse Iñupiaq sentences for translation. Kuyanak, or as we say in my dialect, deku. Thank you.